name is Tarnisha. I'm a mom first, but I'm a woman also. I decided to get something to make me happy. I am ecstatic with my results. Best decision I've made.
Center. Here you can pick out all of your tile with your cabinets, your countertops, and see it all together. So I'll give you an example. You can take your cabinet door, and you put your cabinet door here, and then we can pick out a countertop color, see what looks nice. You can go with the fresh concrete. Then we're going to grab a backsplash that we think looks nice. See how that looks. What do you think? Then I can step back and tweak our lighting a little bit and see what does it look like when it's all warm light or all more of a cool light. Now we can pick out all of your tile in one place. You don't have to go to different buildings, showrooms, carrying your own heavy pieces of stone or samples of tile. We try to make it super easy. You're right here at Bath and Granite. Make it super easy. You're right here at Bath and Granite. Make it super easy. You're right here at Bath and Granite.
Okay, everyone, here we are again. We're live in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I just crossed over a little while ago from Nebraska. We're here now. I just stopped for a quick second and we got some gas. I went to the bathroom. Heddy just went, so I'm not going to let her out right now. And we're off to Wyoming, or through Wyoming. We got a 400-mile trip through the state of Wyoming. I can't believe it's so big. I thought Nebraska was big. Wyoming is 400 miles. The good news is I'm 957 miles from Reno. It says about 13-hour drive. What else? I'm about 250 miles from Rock Springs, Wyoming. These people, why are they parked right here? Oh, they're getting air. And this lady's got her door wide open, so I can't get through. So I'm pretty stuck. If she would just get in the car and sit down, close her door. I need to get out. I can't get out. Please just close your door. She's not going to close the door. She's going to look right at me, the stupid... Come on, lady. We ain't got all day. I got time to make here. I got miles to go before I sleep. Oh my God, finally. Finally. So I got a full tank of gas, 448 miles before empty. You can see that the weather is not so great. It's been raining since I hit Wyoming. It was raining pretty much all through Nebraska. What a gnarly ride on those roads out there. The speed limit here is 80. It just lowered down to 75 when I got off this exit just because we're coming into Cheyenne. So in a couple of minutes, once I get past Cheyenne, which is about 11 minutes down the road, it should pick up. But you can see that sky. And you got mountains now in the background. Like I tried to stream before coming through Nebraska, but the service was hit and miss, making me very frustrated. And I'm spending more time focusing on the phone than I was the road. So I decided to end the stream. So everybody don't be mad at me, but that's what I did. And now here we go. We got 367 miles before we hit the end of this state. We are going to not make that today. No way, Jose. But we will be well ahead of our schedule. We are well ahead of our schedule, actually, because we're going to be in Reno tomorrow. There's a sheriff or trooper or something over here already to the left. Yeah, 75 is the speed limit now, but it was 80. And if you've never been to Wyoming before, this is... we're going up into the high desert. So this is what you're looking at on the side is the high desert. We're starting at the foothills of the high desert, and we're going to work our way up through. Now this is like the tail end of the Rockies too, I think. So we're going to work our way up, and we're going to keep going higher and higher and higher. Reno's about 4,500 feet. So you could do the math. From back home, I think Michael said, my brother said that we were about 700 feet above sea level at home. By the time I get to Reno, it'll be about 4,500 feet. It may even be higher when I get to Salt Lake City. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Tahoe is going to be the highest point, and I don't know if we're going to hit that or not. But thank you guys so much for checking and watching, and don't forget to give those thumbs up. They really do help the channel a lot. Very grateful for everybody who's watching and subscribing. Our subscribers have gone up at least 10 subscribers since we started this trip. We started Tuesday at about noon. So yesterday about noon was 1 day, and today about noon is 2 days. So this is a little over 2 days into the trip, and we've got 954 miles to go. I'm happy that I got 5G coverage. I'm not quite sure how long that's going to last for, so I'm going to let the stream go until, well, the stream ends, or we get to Rock Springs, Wyoming, which is about 250 or so miles from where we're at now. And that'll put me safely halfway through this state and cut off some of that 13 hours that is there for me to go drive tomorrow. But I'm very happy to be able to get in. I want to get to Reno a day early. I want to give everybody a dog update. The dog, she had been a little sick. She's a female, as everybody probably knows. And she just came out of heat, and suddenly I started seeing spots. She was spotting. I believe she has a UTI. I started her on some amoxicillin last night, and by this morning she is markedly better. And by this afternoon she actually pooped for me. So yay, give a big hand for Heddy. And I'm very happy because she was not acting right. She was acting very skittish. There was somebody walking down the hall yesterday at the hotel, and she was just like not having anything of it. She fell to the floor and wanted to turn around and go back to the hotel room. Totally not her. So she's definitely feeling better. She definitely has an appetite too. And she's peeing like it's nobody's business, well, because she's drinking so much water. So what do we got here? It's Frontier Park and Fairgrounds Old West Museum. I think we'll skip it. Now, we are in Cheyenne. I don't know, I think the next 3 or 4 exits. I've stayed in Cheyenne before overnight. It's a wonderful little town. A great place to visit. I don't want to do it today. That's why we're just going to keep driving and driving. and doing some more driving. I think I talked to my brother earlier. I forgot how many miles I've done. 500 or so far today. Came from all the way from Omaha, Nebraska. Whoever thought Omaha, Nebraska was such a big state? It's a little weird coming out this time. Usually I stop off in Minnesota to break the trip up and go see my brother Everett. This time I didn't do it. In fact, I didn't even tell him I was coming out here. Shame on me. But be that as it may, it's a little weird taking the trip and coming in from this direction. I have come in from this direction a couple of times before. I don't like it because it takes such a long time, but that's okay. It's better than coming in through Idaho. So we got a little bit of construction here. Now this is wild. The temperature is 53 degrees now, and it's not so bad because I can feel that sun that's trying to break through. Oh, Casper, hey, let's check that out. The shivering out there waiting for the dog to do her business, and when she finally let things fall, so to speak, and pooped some more, I was very happy because one, she pooped, and two, I could go back and get warm. So I'm very happy. I got to really pay attention to the signs a little bit because I'd like to call them out and give you gas prices as we're going along. I just got done paying $3.45 a gallon for regular. I didn't realize it was E85, and I put that in there. So being E85, I'm not going to get as far on a full tank of gas. It's going to burn more gas, and I'm not going to have as much pep. But that's okay. It's not going to hurt the car. So Rock Springs, 80 straight ahead. We are on 80. We've been on 80 since Omaha. Or before. No, we've been on 80 since Toledo. It all runs in together, folks. We are not monitoring the chat or the comment section because of the driving. It's just me and the dog. She just keeps flunking her reading class, so she's not a very good reader. So what I've decided to do is put the cell phone number in, so you guys can give a call, you can text, you can say hello, you can do whatever. The cell phone number and stuff is in the description of the video, and it's also on the chat. Now listen, if you know me and you know my personal number, please don't call that while I'm doing the live stream. Stick with the number that I've got listed here. I don't know, my truck just had a blowout. Did you guys see that? This truck to the right. Yet he still goes because I guess he doesn't need to stop. But when I get a phone call in from the on the personal line, it cuts off my live feed. And by the way, you're going to see a lot of signs along the way here that talks about, flashing lights, letting you know that the road's closed. You may see barriers like we got coming up right here. We're passing them right now on either side. It gets snow out here, folks. It gets snow so bad that they have to close the highways. And not only do they get snow, I just passed a sign a little while ago that tomorrow from 3 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon tomorrow, so that's why I'm so glad I'm getting through this. And I've driven through here with the winds. But they're expecting 65-mile-an-hour winds. And so there's tip hazards and accident hazards and flying debris hazards. I mean, 65 mile an hour, folks. But if you look, there's nothing. But you can see the mountains in the distance, but you got I don't know if these are plains or prairies or what they are. It's flat land right now. And we'll do this flat land probably for another 50 miles, and we'll start going higher and higher. And every time you go higher, then you'll come down 50 miles and go up before you know we're going to Continental Divide. I'm pretty sure that we did, and I wasn't even paying attention. So we're going to skip that part of it. But we are stopping in Salt Lake City at the Great Salt Lake. Hopefully, if there's time, we're going to get some pictures and do some live video from there. We're also going to go through the it's 251, by the way, to Rock Springs. We're going to be the rest of the drive from Salt Lake City after the Salt Lake to the Nevada border is going to be over the Great Salt Lake Flats. Everybody knows what they are. If you don't, then you're going to learn a little bit when you're watching the live stream. And that's a very long ride too. You'll see the Morton Salt Company, their headquarters. They get their salt apparently off of the Great Salt Lake. Now, I don't know if you can see the windmills off to the left over here. it's definitely windy enough where they could support these windmills. And I don't know if you can see further to the left, there's some gray, really dark gray clouds and white clouds. I can see in the air the mist of the rain coming from those clouds blowing off to the right. There's a little bit that's getting onto the window, but not much. And I don't know if it's in the camera view or not. So, and there's a whole bunch of cows in the field over there, but and they're spaced, though they're socially distancing, about 100 feet apart. Jeez! I've never seen them. Most of them are laying down. So I guess maybe they're tired. They've had their full of food. A lot of grazing out here, so they can graze until their heart's content. But a picture of the cowboys running around on horses and dogs rounding up these cows and bringing them back into the pen. I'm sure that does happen. I hit Reno, 944 miles. I'm so grateful to be under 1,000 miles. You have no idea. It's a long trip, but I've enjoyed every mile of it. So I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. And for the first day and a half, the dog was in the back seat here, huffing and puffing and carrying on, like panting. And I have the air conditioner on to the point where I'm like brutally cold. Well, you can see some of that fell out of the ground. And there's also a Wyoming state trooper. Right? Yeah. State trooper. I forgot what I was saying because the cop distracted me. See there? But don't forget, you guys can call on the number that's in the description or in the chat. I'm not even going to try to remember. It starts 518-580, and I forget the rest. And that number's live anytime. Happy of like 15 thumbs up, which is another, that's a record for our channel. So thank you guys for doing that if you're just interested. So please, please, please don't forget to give us those thumbs up. So the temperature has risen to 55 degrees. I just had to lower the heat in the car. It's cold out. It was really friggin' cold. And when that wind blows, it cuts right through you. All through Nebraska, I was shivering. And wearing sweatshirt later on. So as long as this camera continues to hold out, you guys are going to get some great views. And you can see the mountains off in the distance, and we're going to climb every inch of them. And we're going to keep climbing and climbing and climbing until we get to Utah. And I went over and I put another $7 on top of it, and I got 12 huge, gigantic chicken. I do not have a problem with cold chicken. If you don't like cold chicken, let me know in the comments. I'll look at them later or send me a text and say yuck. But I like cold chicken. I don't mind it. I like cold chicken as much as I like cold pizza. I really do. I like cold pizza. Don't judge me. That's just what I do. That's what I like. See, I'm trying to dig out that pizza or the chicken, and everything just fell and discombobulated. So hopefully we can get this. We didn't lose the feed. I don't think we did. There we go. We're still going. We're rolling. We're rolling. Everything is going. Laramie is 35 miles. Rock Springs, where we're going to stop for the night, 242. You can see the rain in the distance off to the left. And on the right, it's totally clear. And I tried to explain that to people. That's rain. don't forget, sorry I've got a mouthful, I'm eating the chicken while I'm driving. This is the only time I can do it. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check the chat. I put the phone number that you can reach us on. You can call during the live feed, you can send text, or you can just leave a message and I will see them when I stop, but I'm not going to look while I am driving at the text, or at the text, at the chat, or the YouTube comments. I'm so excited. 13 and a half hours before I'm in Reno. I can't believe it. 934 miles. It's telling me to stay on this road for 417 miles. I don't know if that's Salt Lake City or what that is, but we will not see that tonight. I want you guys to see as much as you can of this during the daylight hours, because it really is a spectacular view as we just keep going up and up and up. Many people don't realize that a good portion of the west is actually, the elevation is very high. And they call the high desert because it's not at sea level like Arizona. It is high. And in between most of the desert is tucked off in like a valley in between two mountain ranges of the Sierra Nevada. And these are the tail ends of the Rockies as we're heading into the Sierra Nevadas. I know that also we're going to be going through there. Yellowstone does touch a part of Wyoming. I had this conversation with my father the other day. He said the Yellowstone went down to Colorado. It does not. But it was an interesting thought to look at that. But I think it does come down here a little bit. I don't think that we're anywhere near Yellowstone. I think it's probably going to be more towards the end of the state. From Utah and Idaho, that kind of thing. Sure, you can have it, Heddy. You don't need to grab it. If I'm not mistaken, that's where Dick Cheney is in Laramie's. I'm eating chicken fingers, folks. I think so. But we're climbing up and up and up and up and up. I have no idea what the elevation is because there's no signs. But when we get into Nevada, as we start climbing up through the high desert and climbing up those mountains, we will start seeing elevation signs. And what's really cool, too, in Nevada, we are going to drive through about 5 miles of mountain. I mean, through the mountain, not around it, not a road, but, well, it is a road. They put a tunnel. They dug a break through this big, huge mountain. I mean, it's gigantic. And it's quite an intense experience riding through. So I hope you guys can watch for that, too. There's a lot of great scenes to see in Nevada. It's really not a bad state. But the problem with it right now is that Reno, at least, and Vegas, too, their rents are equivalent with New York. Not New York City, but Rockland County, Orange County, some of the nicer parts of Albany and Saratoga County. You know, you can pay $1,400-1,500 here in Reno and not even think twice, you know, and not have anything that's really all that elaborate. That's scary stuff. And, you know, parents are getting older, you know, really hoping that they're going to come back home. It looks like that they're going to. In around a year's time, we should be having, by this time next year, I'm hoping that they'll be home. And this is one of the last trips to Reno I'll make, other than for a vacation. And next time I come out, I fly out. The drive is not bad. But I need to take, as I'm getting older, I need to take just a little more time to do the drive so that I can stop and relax. You know, you hit your mid-50s and everything goes downhill. I'm still eating chicken finger. I hope you guys don't think that's rude for me to show my chicken finger. Chicken finger. I'm weird. I don't know what to say. I've showed you my chicken finger. I've talked about my dog's poop. What more can I talk about? I'm losing viewers. We're on a road trip. What are you supposed to do? But have fun, right? If you can't have fun, why do it? And the sun's out, and it feels so friggin' good. The temperature has jumped from 49 degrees when I hit Wyoming. It went to 51 where I stopped and started this feed. And now it's jumped up to 63. Oh, it feels like a heat wave. Need my fingers. You can eat this or what? She likes chicken too. So I'm splitting the chicken with her. I pick off all the coating so she's not getting the breading. Otherwise, I hate talking with a mouthful. Hey, I'm going into Albany County right now. Albany County, Wyoming. I just passed a sign, Albany County. But if I don't pull the breading off of that chicken finger for her, give me about 45 minutes, or give her about 45 minutes, and she's curing the gas shortage. And then the windows all have to come down, and I'm going to freeze it. High wind warning, expect crosswind 60 plus miles an hour, Friday 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. I don't know if you just saw that. There is wind now. You can feel it. If you're in the car, you can feel it blowing from the left to the right. And it's raining off to the left, because you can see it. But it's not raining here. And it's one of the interesting things about making this journey is that as we're crossing the desert, especially in Nevada, and we're climbing up on those mountains, we're going to actually see sun shining on one side, and it's going to be snow on the ground on the other. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but it's the God's honest truth. The desert's weather is so unpredictable and changes like you wouldn't believe. Oh, fireworks. Cool. So you really have to be on your toes, especially when you're driving through there. And this time of year, it can be hit or miss. They can get snow at night. And if it doesn't get quite cold enough to snow, it could get cold enough to get a little bit icy and slippery out. And these roads here are meant for, these are regular blacktop roads. But a lot of the roads, they close off even in Nevada when it starts to snow. They'll tell you only chains that you can use on the highway. And we're not talking Tahoe. We're talking right from the Salt Lake or the Utah border, right on through. So you really have to drive with some common sense and try to, if you're going to do this cross-country journey, you really got to watch the time of year that you're doing it. I've done it in December and hit a lot of snow, especially right here in Wyoming. And the winds were blowing and drifting that snow out into the highway, and you're driving along and suddenly you got a 3-foot snowbank. I kid you not, it's the God's honest truth. And the worst part about it is I always did it at night. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you got to slide your brake. You're sliding because it got snow. You got to stop, slow down. But I had my 4-wheel drive truck, so I'm like Superman, invincible. You know what I mean? That was back in the day. But we're holding tight, folks. We are streaming over T-Mobile's Magenta program, 5G. Most of the way, Nebraska was not so much, but here so far, past Cheyenne, we still have 5G going strong. My camera is the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and if you're interested in any of the things that we're using on the trip we're roughing it this trip. If you're interested in what we're using, go ahead and look in the description below. I even put links if you want to see more. But this is great. You can see the rock formations. They're getting bigger and bigger. We're still at 75. I don't know when it's going to go to back to 80 or if it's going to. But I'm cruising right now. We're doing 85. There's hardly anybody on the road. There's a few cars behind me. One looks like a trooper coming up in a white car, but again, I don't think I'm going fast enough to even worry. They have these wild fencing units. I'm looking at them now. If you can look to the left, you can see it. And what they are, they're snow brakes, so that it tries to stop the snow from coming across these plains or prairies, whatever they are, to stop them from doing those drifts that I was just trying to tell you that I experienced a few years back. Well, about 15 at this point. But that's why they have those fences. So you can see them up here to the left. See right here to the left, you can see them. And those are meant for snow brakes to stop and catch the snow, so the snow will billow up against them and pile up. When I was driving, I saw the snow, and it was like I didn't know what was underneath there. And it only was the next spring when I had come out here that I had realized exactly what it was. Okay, so we're slowing down to 65 here. I am going to take heat because the truck's slowing down. I think we're coming into Laramie, and that's why. We are in Vedawoo Road. That's the exit coming up. A little bit of construction. Geez, Heddy, I don't know about you, but I can go for another one of those chickens. We've been noshing on them here and there throughout the day. I like cold chicken about as much as I like cold pizza. Ames Monument. I don't know what that is. Not know what that is. National Forest Recreation Areas. I don't see a forest in sight. I see rocks. I see mountains. I don't see a forest. Not a tree one do I see. Not one tree. I don't see not a single tree. For miles I'm looking here. I can see miles and miles away. Not a tree in sight. And this is pretty much, it looks like the desert, but it's not. We're not here yet in the desert. You'll start seeing more and more desert as we get into Utah. The Salt Lake Flats is actually a salt lake, is a salt flat desert. It's a desert and salt. And you can tell as you're driving by, and they've got little, you can see the road that we're on. In the middle of the road, and on each side of each lane, they have these gullies that are full of what looks like just rancid water, but it's not. It's salt water feeding from the lake or to the lake, and it's to catch all the runoff, because when they get rain, it runs down the big mountain from Salt Lake City, and it can literally flood out those Salt Lake flats. So that's why they have those drains there. And I'll point them out as we're going through. And we'll have about 100 miles over the Salt Lake Flats Desert. And then we'll hit the start hitting the Sierra Nevada desert. So Rock Springs, Laramie is 16 miles away. Oh, it's the construction. 223 miles to Rock Springs. That's where I hope to stop. And if I'm feeling froggy, I may continue to drive. I don't think so, though. That's going to put me close enough. 918 miles is what's left of my journey. 3 hours, 13 hours and 21 minutes. If I kept driving right now, I'd get there at 3:40 in the morning. It's not happening, folks. Not today. But I've driven from Minnesota straight back home to New York, non-stop, only stopping for maybe a quick nap for 5-10 minutes, half hour, and then get back on the road. So yeah, I'm doing another chicken finger. So sorry I got a mouthful. And sorry you got a truck in front of you. That happens a lot when I'm trying to do a live stream. You get these big freaking trucks. And even when I'm doing regular videos, we get these trucks that block the view. Nothing I can do about it. But you can see to the right, to the left. We're going up these mountains, folks. My ears popped a little bit back towards Cheyenne, and I'm wondering, do dogs' ears pop? I don't know. If you know, send me a text. give me a call. The number is in the chat box to the right of the video, and it's also in the description. And I apologize for my full mouth. I'm sure that sounds just lovely on YouTube. Oh, an outhouse. Is that the rest area? I really can amuse myself. I do enjoy my own company, folks. But it's 5:20 on the East Coast, 3:20 here in, well, just outside of Laramie, Wyoming, and it is 2:20 in Reno. Is that a car off? Oh no, it's just a trailer. It's good chicken. The chicken came from Lucille's famous fried chicken. I want to show Lucille's famous fried chicken. I've got so much. These are the steak fries I still have. $12 is the best $12 I spent the whole trip. I'm eating 2 days on that chicken. I like chicken. And speaking of chicken, my sister-in-law, she just got like, I don't know, maybe 100 pounds of chicken breast. They were on sale. And she's loaded up my freezer with them. So when I get home, guess what I'm having? Chicken breast. Very much. How is it going to make it easier? I don't know. It's already broken up. Channel out a lot. Do you want to share it with your friends? We're really trying to grow this channel. Hopefully at some point it'll make enough money where I don't have to worry. I can slow down on some of the work. And that'll probably happen in about 10 years. So for right now, you guys keep watching. You can see these mountains. We're climbing, folks. We are climbing, but unfortunately, not a single elevation sign. If anybody's watching and they feel froggy, I'd love to know what the elevation of Laramie, Wyoming is. You can send me a text at the number in the chat or the numbers in the description also. Oh, elevation. Look at this. 8640. We are 8,640 feet up. I just find that very hard to believe, but I guess we are. Oh, look, we're going to go downhill, 5% grade over the next 5 miles. So maybe we really are up that high. Reduce speed zone ahead, blah, 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 blah. For some of y'all, that may mean hit your brakes, but for me, that means floor it. No, I'm only kidding. And for me, that means great gas mileage. I don't have to hit that gas pedal. See, now we got trees. All kinds of pine. Look straight ahead through that range. And we've come down. I don't know what the elevation is. I said, yeah, Laramie, next 4 exits. The winds are so strong. I did not have the feed going, but towards the end of it was actually. So I'm assuming the authorities dealt with it all. But yeah, this is beautiful country. Again, this is it's very deceiving. You don't know where I'll stay. One, because I don't want to miss any of these beautiful chances. But look straight ahead. Now you see that. Here we go. We got beautiful coming up. The sky. I can see it. The desert's very prone to flash flooding. So if you get any kind of rain, even everywhere, and before you know it, you're in a river. That's 15 minutes. 15-minute rivers. But what you see to the right, straight ahead, you see it's like the rain coming down. No doubt about it. My brother Michael's a pilot, and he uses aviation software to check big rain. A little confusing for some people. There is no port of entry. There's no waterway. When they get registered or weighed to make sure they're not overweight. And I think they their logbooks, blah blah blah. Where diesel is at 443, not bad compared to. It's getting expensive. I would not want to be these truckers having to, especially the independents, having to fill. I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not, but it's a mix. I can see wet and dry. Unfortunately, of course, didn't see it because I couldn't have the feed going. But my black. I don't know. Snowy Ridge Scenic Byway. Wyoming Territorial Prison and State Historic Site. Wonderful. Snowy Range Road. Yeah, we got town. It's coming from the left, pushing me over to the right. That's why I'm staying in the left. Boys River, Minnesota. High wind, expect crosswind. What watercraft and where are you launching it to? I don't see any. Diesel 515. That makes that 440. The iron skillet is 509 for diesel. What do we got over here? Loves it. We're cruising, folks. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but 85. Oh, here we go. It's at 80. Speed limit's at 80. You know what I mean? Why bother? 899 miles to Reno. 13 hours, 5 minutes. Before it gets dark tomorrow. Yeah, they're really pushing this high wind from Friday 1 a.m. That's a lot of heavy wind. And here we go. We're climbing again. What did I tell you? Really cool. Look at that sky. Look at that sky. Look at those clouds. It's freaking phenomenal. And I hope you can. It's just breathtakingly beautiful. And that's rain. What you see to the right over there. But it's really coming down on the left over here. Why it's not about 5 or 6 different tornadoes, but it's not. That's rain. That's just rain. And this is flat, but we're going to be going up. Someone looks like they're turning around. That could be the fuzz, so I just want to make sure I give people room. It's 80. Degrees, I can feel it. I'm going to lower my air conditioner a little bit. I'm very excited about it. Folks, if you're just Laramie, we've come through Cheyenne, working our way to Salt and Rock Springs. Buddy, I know that wind's pushing in my lane. To work hard to stay. It really wants to push us over to the right. I don't want to stop either while I'm wide awake, so it's like a double-edged sword, you know. Rock Springs. That'll take off. You know, it's definitely a day's drive. It's a day's drive now, 12 hours. Drive. It's on it, but I keep my headlights on because you can see cars. Maybe 5, but I can see them from a very long distance. So I want people to see me. The truck, you saw him pass me. I'm doing 85. So he's flying. He's got to be doing at least 100. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome to ButchyBoom. We're taking our trip to Reno. We are in. We're going to stop in Rock Springs for the night, grab a hotel in Reno within about 8 hours or so. It's starting to rain. So it's back in the distance. We're coming into it. And we're going to drive through it. Temperature's dropping back down. It's back down to 64 degrees. 50s through Nebraska, and I'm telling you, that was cold. That we have right now. And if you're just joining, this morning and continue until 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It gets Rock Springs, 190. Current wind gusts 40 miles an hour. course, the sun is shining. I mean, these mountains, folks. I'm going to have to move this camera for a quick second so I'm not muted. So if you're just joining the, which is about 250 miles west of Cheyenne, just the state, where the elevation keeps springs. I don't want to be driving through the equivalent of hurricane force winds, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm hoping for. And I apologize, the service is a little sporadic up here. The service is a little sporadic. I can't help what that is, but we are making great time, folks. And just for a quick update, I'm 839 miles from Reno. If I pulled the car off today and decided to spend the night on the side of the road, I'm only 12 hours and 12 minutes from Reno. So I'm very, very excited. This is like, well, it's practically the end of the trip. It's not, another 12 hours. But this is the best part of the trip, getting through these mountains and the scenic views. I mean, this is just absolutely gorgeous. I hope the camera's doing it justice. And again, we're not following the chat box right now because I'm driving. I'm not even checking the comments because I'm driving. However, in the chat box, I put a phone number, and in the description, I put a phone number. Feel free to use that phone number. You give a call if you want to. Send a text just to say hello. Whatever, doesn't matter. Or leave a comment or something in the chat, and I will see it later and try to respond. I really wish we'd get through this construction. I really wish we would. And equally so, I wish we'd see a sign that tells me how far to Rock Springs. I am not anywhere near tired. We've been on this stream now. We've been in Wyoming for an hour and 43 minutes and 15 seconds. I know, because that's where we started the stream. Nebraska service, T-Mobile, wasn't very good. So, Wyoming so far, despite all these mountains, pretty decent 5G coverage. Pretty decent. I'm really impressed with T-Mobile. And even though in Nebraska I didn't have T-Mobile 5G, I think that there was some basic coverage, maybe roaming, I don't know. My brother had said that he tried to call and he kept getting pushed off the voicemail, so I'm inclined to think that there was no service for a certain period of time. But this construction seems never ending. And with the wind blowing across, jeez. I can't tell. It feels like the wind is coming at me now. It feels like it's changed direction. It was coming from the left, but it feels like it's holding me back now. And that's what it feels like. And we're climbing, climbing, climbing. If you guys were watching earlier, if you know me, you've probably heard me tell a lot of stories about driving out here in the past. And you're going straight down the road. You see mountains, of course, but you go around a bend and suddenly there's a mountain right in front of your face. So if you were watching about an hour ago, that's exactly what happened, and that's just here in Wyoming. Wait until we get on the desert in Nevada, folks. You'll go around a bend and bam, there's a mountain right in front of you. And sometimes there'll be snow on it, sometimes there won't be. One side of the road will have bright, sunny, warm sunshine, and the other will actually be cold with snow on it. And yes, you can get snow in these higher elevations this time of year, especially if it gets cold enough. I believe in up on Mount Rose, Lake Tahoe area, they are expecting a light dusting of snow tonight. So it's not out of the question. And when the temperatures dip, all it takes is just a little bit of moisture on the road if it had rained and the freeze over, black ice. Can you see it now? Me spinning in circles as I'm going off into this high desert-y kind of stuff that we got going on So I'm not going to take any chances. Construction's over. Back to 75 miles an hour. Floor it, Jethro. Let's get the hell out of here. So now I'm looking for a sign that's going to tell me how far to Rock Springs. I really want to make Rock Springs before it gets dark. It looks like I'm going to do that. I just don't know. I'll give everybody an update here. I am 12 hours, 8 minutes away from Reno. A measly 835 miles. If I continue driving straight through non-stop, I should be there around 3:36 in the morning. I am not going to do that. I can't do it. I'd never make it. You'd probably find me at the bottom of the Salt Lake somewhere, running off the road. So we're going to stop in Rock Springs. Pretty much splits the difference. Going to give me about an 8-hour drive in the morning to get to Reno, so I should be time, eat a light dinner, and crash early, get up early Saturday morning and help pack. Because that's what we're doing. We're helping my parents move. I've got my dog Heddy. She's asleep in the back seat. I'm very happy she's asleep. She hasn't been feeling well. She had an infection, a UTI. I started her on antibiotics last night. Thank God I brought them. And today she's a different dog. I just think that she's a little tired. So I'm just going to let her sleep and catch up because she hasn't really had a lot of sleep to this trip. So I'm trying not to disturb her. Speaking of the devil, you know that old saying, little pictures have big ears, right? Well, she's not a little picture. She's a big one. And she's got great big ears. And she hears me talking about her. So her head just popped up. But she was panting and carrying on. She was getting me a little nervous. Despite the air conditioner being on full blast and I'm freezing in here, she's panting like crazy. Wasn't sure how much that was anxiety. I had suspected she was getting sick. So my suspicions were confirmed last night when she started spotting for no reason. And UTI. So amoxicillin is the treatment of choice, and amoxicillin is what I had, and amoxicillin is what I gave her. No, I am not a doctor or a vet, but I know what the dog needs. Kind of an issue, and she wasn't getting better by this time today, that she was going to the vet tonight. But she's fine. She's much better. And she even took a nice big poop. I was getting concerned because she didn't do that either. And if you know your dog, if you love your dog, you watch the dog go to the bathroom, make sure everything is working, all the plumbing's working good. And when it's not working good, you know it, and you can start watching out for problems. But she pooped. She pooped. I was so excited to get some poop. I was excited. So it says, we just passed a sign that said I can tune to AM radio 1610, and it'll give me traffic alerts. So I'm going to try to turn this radio on and see if I can switch it over to AM without getting into an accident. That we don't want to do. Yeah, I don't see how. Forget taking my eyes off. Oh, AM. There's an AM. It just sailed right out past it. So no radio for us. I've been doing all this talking throughout the live feeds. It's more talking than I think I've ever done. What am I hearing? We got the Statler brothers in the background, but of course I got to turn it off because guess why? I'll get a copyright hit, so I got to turn it off. Temperature is climbing too. It's 68 degrees. This is the highest it's been all day long for me. All through Nebraska it was at 50. outside to feel that sun. So we're 12 hours, 3 minutes from Reno, 828 miles. If we were to continue on without stopping, we'd be there at about 3:35 in the morning. No way, Jose, am I doing that. We're going to probably stop in Rock Springs, which I think is about 150 miles or so dead ahead. I was really just hoping to make Cheyenne today, and I'm so glad that I got to Cheyenne when I did, so I'm able to just keep on going. I'm wide awake. I had a great night's sleep last night for what I could get of sleep. I'm refreshed. I'm still wide awake. So while I'm wide awake and I'm driving. It's 6:34 on the East Coast. It's 4:34 here in Wyoming, coming up on Rock Springs, Wyoming. It is 3:34 in Reno. And the temperature now is 68 degrees, exactly where I'm at. I've also been shouting out the gas prices and stuff. About $3.50 for regular is about the average that I've seen here in Wyoming. And that's pretty consistent with, I paid $3.35 this morning in Omaha. Because that's where I started off from. Riverside encampment. I don't know what that is. Established 235. I don't know if that makes sense. Or maybe that's the exit. Maybe it's exit 235. Yes, 235 is the exit. Maybe it didn't say established. Maybe it did say exit and I just didn't see it. If that's the case, I'd better get my eyes examined. Speaking of getting my eyes examined, I'm sitting here with driving and I'm like, wow, do I need to get my eyes checked? Everything just looks, dirty, kind of dark, not bright, shiny, clear. I wear glasses. When I lifted my glasses up off my nose, my glasses are filthy. I don't even know how I'm seeing through them. So the good thing is I had LASIK a couple of years, when I was 39, so that was a while ago. And technically I could still drive, I think, without my glasses. I just don't like it. So I still have my dirty glasses on, so when I stop, I'll make sure I clean them. And we're on 80 West, going about 85 miles an hour. Let's see what we got here for Rock Springs. 130 miles to Rock Springs. We can do that. That's 734. What did I say? 130. So we're going to be at about 695 miles or so. If I stop in Rock Springs, 130 miles, 80 miles an hour. So we're talking an hour and a half before we get to Rock Springs. So that's going to be what? 5:30, 6 o'clock. Perfect. That probably sounded like Mr. Ed. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. And we have 233 more miles to go before we're at the end of this state. So about 130. So we have about 100 miles to go before we hit Utah tomorrow morning. But it's safe to say by dinner time tomorrow, Friday, the 23rd, I will be in Reno at my father's house eating dinner. And then going to sleep, having an early night, and waking up Saturday morning and doing the whole packing. Getting ready for the big move on Monday. gas back there, Heddy. Oh, Lord. Oh, that's rough, girl. That's rough. So we're about 130 miles from Rock City, Wyoming. That's where we're going to spend the night. We're going to stop there. That'll leave about 100 miles left in Wyoming. And then all we have left is Utah and Nevada. If we continue on, we'll be in Reno 11 hours, 55 minutes. We're not going to do that. We have 820 miles left. So we're going to break this. I have about 130 before I'm going to stop. That'll leave about 695, 700 miles to go tomorrow morning. Definitely 8-9 hours tops, and I'll be in Reno. The speed limit here is 75, and a lot of places it's also 80 here in Wyoming. So you really get to make some good time. I'm cruising right now at just about 90. Wyoming is 13 miles. I don't know why that's significant, but they had a sign there, so I figured I'd just call it out. So Rawlings, Wyoming, 13 miles from where I'm at. And again, I don't know why it's significant, but I saw the sign, so I figured I'd put it out there. We are cruising, folks. It's we're doing about 90 across this deserty kind of plainy thing. It's not. Well, I guess this is desert. You don't really think of desert in Wyoming, but this is. I guess it's meeting the definition of desert. Seminole State Park. State Park. We're in Sinclair, Wyoming. The Seminole State Park is right there. I had no idea this even existed here. I'm trying to see if I see some gas prices at this truck stop that we're passing, so I can call them out. I'm not seeing gas prices. Oh, a diesel, $4.99.9. Ouch. Very expensive. And that's at Pete's Eats. And it looks like a Sinclair truck stop. It's about 4,400 right now. And we had come down. We were at like 5,800. We're down to 44. It's very, very windy. They're expecting gigantic big winds. Wow, that made me duck. I don't know if you saw that thing flying, whatever it was. They have 40-mile-an-hour crosswind warnings right now currently, and then starting at 3 in the morning, it's going to be 65-mile-an-hour plus crosswinds coming through from 3 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. There was one sign that I passed, and there was only one that said 1 o'clock in the morning. So that was more closer this way here. The original one I saw at 3 in the morning was more back towards Cheyenne. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the wind is going to start here early. It's strong wind now. Very strong. So we're at exit 219. We have come about 200 exits in already to Wyoming. And it gives us about 219 miles till we get to the border between Wyoming and Utah. So we are doing wonderful. We're making excellent time. I wasn't expecting to be in Reno until Saturday. We're going to be in Reno tomorrow, right around dinner time. So we're making excellent time. And as long as the rain holds off and these winds don't get much stronger, we're going to do very well. We got about 115 miles now before I stop for the night. And that's where I'll end the stream. If you're just joining us, we're not following the chat or the comments right now because I'm driving. Instead, I have published my phone number in the chat box and in the comments. They're easier enough, they pop up on the Android Auto. Rock Springs is 113 miles. That's where we're stopping. So about another hour and a half or so. 85, 90 miles an hour. It'll still be daylight, fortunately. But you can see we're starting to get into the desert here, folks. It's not flat, though. This is the rolling desert of Wyoming. There's no cactus or anything that I can see. I don't even think it's sage. I don't smell it. You can smell sage in the Nevada desert. It gives like a real, sagey kind of smell. It smells pissy to me. So I really don't enjoy the smell at all. I've been doing so much talking, folks. I gotta just give a quick cough to clear my throat. Excuse me. There we go. Tetron Yellowstone National Park. See, if you were listening earlier, I told you Yellowstone was part of this. Sorry, so Rawlins is the next 3 exits. We've been seeing signs for Rawlins all a while. So now we're finally going through Rawlins. And just think, I have to make this trip on the way back again. Carbon County Museum. Frontier Prison National Historic Place. There's a business district, it looks like. Hospital is on Spruce Street. Interesting. There's this big gray, ominous looking cloud. Looks like we're going to be going right underneath the darn thing. The temperature has jumped up. It's now 68 degrees. That's a big jump from 50 when I crossed over into Wyoming. But now the sun's going to start going down a little bit, so the temperature should start falling. And believe me, it'll get cold here tonight. In Nebraska, they were predicting 44 for the low. This time of year, you can get into the high 30s, low 30s here in Wyoming. And snow in the higher elevations is not unheard of. State penitentiary at 214. Well, they really put those on the road, huh? I didn't realize they had penitentiary signs. Hiley Boulevard. Ooh, more gas. $3.83 for regular, $5.09 for diesel. They see us coming, folks. Good thing I'm just a little under 3/4. Oh, I can feel it cooling off. It was 68 a second ago. It's now down to 67. And of course, you got that wind whipping, so it would cut right through you if you were outside. And I think we've been driving a little over 2 hours. So the dog, she's getting ready too. She wants to go outside. So we'll have to take a break here at some point. Let her run out and do her business, stretch her legs. And then we'll get back in the car and go. Left lane ends. More construction. Just what we want. 9 miles left to the state. Back to 80 miles an hour. Good news is you can see where the rain ends. Continental Divide, folks. Elevation 7,000 feet. We did not pass it already. We just did. We just passed the Continental Divide. At 7,000 feet is our elevation. I didn't think that these part of the mountains got that high. The temperatures dropped to 64. I can feel that. Big old drops here in Wyoming. We're about 100 or 105 miles from Rock Springs, Wyoming. And that's where we're going to stop for the night. You can see the sun's going down. The temperature's been all over the place. When I first hit Wyoming, about 2 hours ago, 2 hours and 20 minutes ago, it was 50 degrees. It went up to 68, and now it's down to 64 and falling. And of course, those clouds, that's why it's blocking the sun. But you certainly can feel it. According to the Google machine, we are 11 hours, 32 minutes from Reno. that equates out to 792 miles. Definitely a day's drive now, or actually less than a day's drive. So when I stop at Rock City or Rock Springs, there should be about 600 or so miles left to go to hit Reno. So I'll definitely be there in Reno for dinner tomorrow night. It is currently 5:01 here in Wyoming, 7:01 on the East Coast, and well, if it is 5 o'clock here, then it's 4 o'clock in Reno. And we should be crossing over. I don't know where I'm going to cross over into the Reno time zone, the West Coast time zone. I think it's sometime in Utah. But it could be beforehand. I don't know. County we just crossed over into. Less than 200 miles left to the state. I'm so happy, happy, happy. Reiner Road. 195 miles from Rock Springs, Wyoming. That's where we're going to stop and spend the night. We are about 195 miles from the Utah border. We will be in Reno in 785 miles. That's 11 hours and 25 minutes according to Google of driving time. We are not going to go to Reno tonight. I'm going to pull off here in Rock City, spend the night, and then get up early in the morning. The temperature is now 65 degrees. It's been up and down and all over the place. We've had rain and sunshine. The temperature got up as high as 68, went down to 50. So it's been really you'll go in Salt Lake. We're going to walk out there and shoot some video live with me and the dog. We're going to be driving over the Salt Lake Flats. So if you missed the video tomorrow, the live stream, make sure you rewatch it because there's going to be a lot that you're going to want to see. And please, if you can, folks, give us those thumbs up. It really does help the channel. It tells YouTube that our live streams and our videos are worth watching. And believe it or not, I'm working very hard to put this stream together. So please give me that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't like what you're seeing, then by all means do not. But if you like it, give me that thumbs up. And I know I'm asking a lot because some folks have to sign in order to do the thumbs up. But I do appreciate the effort. So my voice is starting to get a little scratchy because I've been talking and talking and talking and talking through my live feed. All right, Heddy, you want me to stop? I will. There's a stop area right here. We will stop. Okay? I'll let you out and get some exercise. I know there's a parking area. Parking area, 1,500 feet. We will park over here and let you go out, stretch your legs. She just took a big time nap, so why not let you do that? Dun, 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 dun. Penalty for littering is $750. All right. Oh, it feels much. Yes, sir, girl. Hang on. Hang on. My fingers don't work. just saw somebody walking. It's creepy. With their dog. Just saw it. You want something to drink? I'll give you a little something to drink. Not too much because we're going to stop soon. I want you to make it till our stop. No. All right. That's it. All right. We're going to head up. That concludes our break. And now we're going to finish our trek to Rock Springs, Wyoming. All right. Plenty of gas. Plenty of charge. about 90 miles, or 80 miles, excuse me, from Rock Springs, Wyoming. That's where we're going to stop and take our break for the night. The temperature is 65 degrees. It's much warmer than it was in Nebraska. We're traveling right now at 90 miles an hour. The speed limit's 80. We have 772 miles left to get to Reno. According to Google, it should be about 11 hours. So then half a tank of gas, so I'm not stopping for gas. I'll grab gas in the morning. I'm going to stop at Rock Springs for the night. If you're just tuning in, you missed the Continental Divide. We crossed it right over the Continental Divide. If you replay the video, go back worth about a half an hour worth of viewing time, you'll see the sign that says the Continental Divide. So I'm very happy to be able to do that. What a treat to have a lead foot. We're doing 90. It's flat up 90. Speed limit's 80. You know, these truckers are boogieing, you know, so I'm not worried about a speeding ticket. After all, we are in the desert of Wyoming, folks. Pushing on into Reno. 769 miles to Reno, which is about, at this point, about 70 miles ahead. There's 179 miles left to Wyoming before we cross over into Utah. Of course, we're going to do that tomorrow. When we wake up in the morning, we'll have about 100 miles left inside the state to travel. Not bad if I do say so myself. So today we'll have done probably close to, let's see, I think it was probably about 750 miles. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. Yesterday we did about 700. If you really put this in perspective, we left Tuesday at noon, and so Tuesday at noon to Wednesday at noon is one day. Then Wednesday at noon to today at noon was 2 days. So about 2.5 days worth of driving. The total distance was 2,712 miles that we have to go, and I'm down to 768 left. So we're really, really cooking along here. And the winds are blowing. They're coming from the left. Warning signs that we're seeing, the electronic signs, 40 mile an hour crosswinds. Tonight, about 1 in the morning, from 1 in the morning till 3 tomorrow afternoon, they're looking at 65 mile an hour crosswinds. Plus, you see that semi? These winds, that wind must have just changed directions or something, I don't know. I'm right alongside him in just a second. It's gnarly, but I'm going to floor it because I don't want to be next to him when he goes flying over to my lane. See? There we go. We're past him. Oh, and we hit the 100 mile an hour mark, folks. I think we shall slow down now. Even me with the biggest lead foot known to America, I don't like going 100 miles an hour and 40 mile an hour crosswinds. Not a good idea. Not exercising the better part of good judgment. That's a good way to be rolling over somewhere in the desert. So I'm not doing that. But I'm keeping it right at about 85, 90. And we're just going to cruise. And we're going to get to that Rock Springs. Not soon enough for me. I want to hurry up and get off the road already. I'm getting tired. Not tired, but just tired of sitting. I want to get up and move around. Take a nice shower. I have some leftover chicken from yesterday, so I'm going to have some chicken for dinner. Leftover steak fries. So that's what I'm having for dinner. Wa mustard. I don't know how to pronounce that. Wamuster. There's a truck stop coming up. It looks like TA, Truck Stops of America. That's what it looks like from a distance anyway. And I'll tell you what the gas prices are. They've been pretty high so far. I saw $4.99 a minute ago for diesel and $3.89 for regular. Of course, this truck is probably going to want to get in my way. I got two choices: pass him and hopefully still see that sign, or stay behind him. I'm going to pass him and hopefully still see that sign. I think I'm going to see that sign just fine. Good thing is I don't need gas. I've got 223 miles before empty, just a little before a half a tank. So I got plenty of gas to get me to Rock City, or Rock Springs. I don't know why I keep calling it Rock City. Okay, so 405 for, oh, geez, no, I'm sorry, 405 for regular. Jesus. 405 for regular, 513 for diesel, folks. And when you wonder why those tomatoes are so expensive and a head of lettuce is costing $5, there you go. $5.13 those truckers are paying for gas, for diesel. My God. Oh my God. I don't know what else to say, but oh my God, that's expensive. I'm so glad I don't need gas. Jeez, that's outrageous. Put that in perspective, $3.35 this morning I paid in Omaha, $3.45 a little while ago when I filled up here in Wyoming, just outside of Cheyenne, I think it was. So 166 miles to Livingston, 66 miles to our stop in Rock Springs. See, we got plenty of daylight left. It's 7:27 on the East Coast where I come from. It is 5:27 here in Wyoming. Somewhere in Wyoming, in the middle of Wyoming. I can't talk. Somewhere in the middle of Wyoming. It is 5:28. We are putting. We actually had to do 100 winds going on right now. They got warnings up. Crosswinds are expecting them. They got warning signs up all over the place. So my job today is to get as far into this state as I possibly can to minimize the amount of time I have to drive through here tomorrow. So about 100 miles I'll have left over in the morning, about an hour and 15 minutes or so at 80 miles an hour. That's the speed limit too. I don't know if you just saw that sign, but the posted speed limit is 80. So 90 is 10 miles over. And I think I'm about 89. Just to keep it from being a full 10 miles over. We crossed the Continental Divide about 45 minutes ago. If you missed it, you can scroll back the video and take a look. You'll see the sign. Really not much to look at except for a sign that says the Continental Divide, and it gave the elevation of 7,000 feet. So in Wyoming, the Continental Divide, at least on I-80 where we're at right now, the elevation 7,000 feet. And we're much higher than us. We're not much higher than 7,000 now. I think we're down a little bit, probably around 5,000. And as much as I didn't think about it, but this is, I think, part of the high desert. 100 miles gas food hotel in Little America. Wow. Well, I hope that there's something before 100 miles because I'm planning on stopping at 60 miles. Just a little bit. It'll be a little less than an hour. I should be stopping right around 8:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Mountain Time where we're at now. And for all I know, by the time I stop, we'll have switched over into the Pacific Time Zone. I'm not quite sure where that happens at. And if you just missed it, we stopped a minute ago, 10 minutes ago probably. I let the dog out to go to the bathroom, stretch her legs. She just took a big time nap and woke up. So we both stretched our legs for 5 minutes. We're back in the car. And I'll take her for a walk once we get to where we're going here in Rock City or Rock Springs, Wyoming. The temperature's back up to 68, by the way. It went down to 49 when I crossed over into Wyoming. It was 51 degrees, and it's been climbing up. It was up here to about 68 earlier, and then it dropped down to 61. And then 55, and then back up. So it just goes to show you, in the span of 100 miles, how many times the weather can change. And it all depends upon that sun. Does it go behind the clouds? When that happens in the desert, guess what happens? It gets cold. And yeah, red desert. When we were walking out, and I was just walking the dog, you can see the ground is all cracked and stuff from not really getting a lot of rain. I know they're having a drought out this way, and in Reno they're having a big-time forest fire. Not in Reno proper, it's coming from Northern California, up near Truckee, but Truckee's like about 10 minutes away. Lake Tahoe, on the California side, is about a half hour, 45 minutes away from my father's house, and the air quality, I'm told, is horrible. Smoky, smoky, smoky. It's like you're in a bonfire, wherever you are in Reno, inside your house, outside your house. Frankly, I don't know why people want to live through stuff like that. I couldn't. But people do. And Reno, of course, the biggest little city. I'm so excited we're going to be there early. We're getting there tomorrow instead of Saturday. So it's a great thing. We're making great time. Very a sandblaster to get it off of there. But yeah, we're cruising. It's 90 miles an hour. Right now, the speed limit is 80, so I'm doing 90. And we are 754 miles now from Reno. And counting down. About 50 miles before we stop for the night, and that's where the feed will end. I encourage everybody to rewatch because we just crossed the Continental Divide about 45-50 minutes ago. You can see the sign if you want to scroll back through the live feed to see it. Otherwise, check back tomorrow. We'll have this video back up and you can watch it. And tomorrow, once we hit Utah, we're stopping at the Great Salt Lake. We're going over the Salt Lake Flats. We're going to be going through the high desert of the Sierra Nevadas. I think this is high desert here too, in Wyoming. I just don't think of it that way. And I don't know the name of the desert. But we have a lot of sights to see tomorrow. And it's going to be one of the best parts of the drive, so I really hope you get a chance to tune in. And if you don't, come back and watch the replay of it because there's going to be some beautiful, beautiful sights. I'm going to do my best to keep this windshield even better tomorrow. If I have to stop every hour or two to clean it, I will do that. We're about 162 miles exactly from the border of Wyoming into Utah. We're not going to make that tonight. We're going to be just right around the 100-mile mark when we start off in the morning, 100 miles worth of traveling before we get into Utah. And we're looking at probably, well, right now it's 10 hours and 59 minutes to Reno. So 10 hours, 59, another hour of driving, if that. As I said, about 6:30 my time. We'll be stopping for the night. So yeah, it'll be about 9 hours of traveling tomorrow. Not bad. And so far, it's been about 2.5 days. We left Tuesday at noon, Wednesday at noon. That was yesterday. Today at noon. It's 2 days, so about 2.5 days so far. So it'll take us, about 3.5 days to get to Reno from New York. That's not bad, folks, especially for one person driving. Not bad at all. are 10 hours, 46 minutes from Reno. 732 miles left to drive. 732 miles. We are going to be stopping in Rock Springs, which should be about 45 minutes or so. And that's where we're going to stop for the night and end this live feed for tonight. Tomorrow is going to be one of the best parts of this whole entire trip. We're going to be going through Utah, stopping at the Great Salt Lake. We're going to be going to, what else? Great Salt Lake, riding over the Salt Lake Flats, the Salt Desert. We're going through the High Sierra Nevada Desert. We're going to be traveling through those mountains. We've got a big trip tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be one of the best days. So if you get a chance, you really need to watch this feed tomorrow. We'll start the feed very early. I'm not sure exactly what time, but we're thinking right around 7 o'clock in the morning, Mountain Time. And we're going to stream right through. We're going to be in Reno tomorrow. We only have 736 miles left to go. So we're getting there a whole day early. I'm very, very excited. Right now we're in the middle of Wyoming, if you're just tuning in. We're cruising across the desert. We're 85 miles an hour at this point. The temperature is 67 degrees. It's partly sunny. The sun's going in, going out. What else do I want to tell you? If you can, we really appreciate those thumbs up. They really do help the channels. If you could do the thumbs up thing, that'd be awesome. Subscribe if you haven't done that. And by the way, I just want to say a special thank you to all our new subscribers and existing subscribers and everybody in between who's been watching the videos and stuff. Thank you so much. It really does help the channel out a lot. Especially those thumbs up that tells YouTube that our videos and live streams are really worth watching. So they've got right now 40-mile-an-hour crosswind warnings going on this road. So it's making for a little sketchy driving. It's one of the reasons why we're stopping. I don't want to be driving at night with 40-mile-an-hour crosswinds. And if that's not bad enough, tonight, early this morning at 1 o'clock tonight, 1 a.m. here local time, through 3 p.m. tomorrow, they are expecting 65 plus mile-an-hour crosswinds. That's hurricane force winds, folks. I'm not looking to be driving through all of that, so that's why I'm driving as much as I possibly can today to get through this gigantic big state of Wyoming, so that I can avoid all those big crosswinds. I've seen a lot of truckers going, out of their lane and stuff, so you got to be very alert and aware of them. But the speed limit's 80. I'm cruising at 90. I've gone as fast as 100 to pass a truck who was zigging and zagging, trying to stay in his lane from the wind. I got just behind him and then goosed it. I didn't want to be beside him as he's leaving his lane, because these winds are something fierce. We crossed the Continental Divide. There's about an hour ago. You can rewind the video to watch it if you want to. The elevation at the Continental Divide, according to the sign, was 7,000 feet. 7,000. And I don't think we're at 7,000. I think we're right around 5,600 right now, 1,000 feet. We have about 142 miles to go before we're done with Wyoming and we cross over into Utah. So personally, it can't happen soon enough. Not that the state's not beautiful, not that I'm not enjoying driving at 90, 95 miles an hour. I'm not looking forward to these crosswinds. These 40-mile-an-hour crosswinds that we have now are, quite frankly, if I was in my pickup truck, I probably would have to go much slower. I'd be afraid of being blown off the road or tipped over. I don't know how, like this boat coming down the road, I don't know how he's doing it. So Rock Springs is 35 miles. That's where we're stopping. The next town after that looks like it's Green River, and that's 50 miles. I'm not going to push it that far. I just want to get off the road for the night. But here we are. We're in Wyoming, folks. It's 66 degrees now. If you've been watching the feed, you'll know that the temperatures have been all over the place. They've been up and down. They were at 68, 59, and then when I crossed over into Wyoming, it was 51, and jumped to 60, and it was precipitously growing as we got higher and higher. Go figure, right? You think it would get colder and colder, but it's not. So, we're in the desert, in Wyoming. We're going to be stopping in about 30 minutes for the night. We're going to make sure this video gets back up so that you guys can watch it over again if you want to. But there's some really beautiful sights. I apologize for the windshield having a little bit of bugs on it. When you're going 85, 90. Right now we're at 90. A bug hits it. There's not much you can do, and the windshield wiper fluid isn't doing much. I'll show you. Oh, I think we're actually almost out of fluid. I've used so much. Oh, I'm using lights. Wrong thing. So I'll spray a little more bug juice on the window there, but it's not really doing much. I'm going to have to get out and sandblast it in order to make it work. That's my black view. I don't know why it's talking now suddenly, but my black view dash cam. It's the backup video that I'm using just in case for some reason something happens here with the video that we're doing now. I have backup of the video. I don't know what the hell just happened here. What just happened? We have backup of the video from the dash cam. I don't know why this idiot just slammed down his brakes. So the temperature, the weather, or the speed limit just dropped down. Oh, here's why. The speed limit just dropped down to 65 from 80. And that's why this jerk in front of me from Florida decided to slam on his brakes. Good thing there was nobody behind me. Area, we got to see what it's like. I mean, I think they get like 10 inches a year of rain in Nevada. So I'm anxious to see what it's looking like there. Black Butte Road coming up. So I anticipate that we're going to be stopping in about by 6:30. We should be in Rock City or Rock Springs. Right around that neck of the woods. And that's going to be the end of the feed for the night. I'm going to stop and eat my leftover chicken, have an early night, and get up at those rumble strips. Truck is having trouble staying on the road. It's not because he's drunk, it's because these crosswind